I guess I'm the last speaker, so I'm going to make it very fast. I'm sitting between you and T. So, some of the points that I wanted to make have already been covered by Mrs. Suchita Pyarelal I'd like to, from the open source community standpoint, like to congratulate them on an excellent set of recommendations. So, this is what happens when, we don't follow standards. I say that, okay, I'll drive on the right-hand side of the road, and the standard is to drive on the left-hand side of the road. So we either go to heaven or hell depending on the standards of morality that we followed. One of the key reasons for open standards is because the government is the custodian of data. It doesn't own the data. Technically, it may own the data, but it's actually a custodian of the data on behalf of the citizens. The challenge is that, the data might be necessary to be opened up, say 400 years down the line. For example, land records, the longevity of the data is extremely long. And the access technologies may keep changing. Yesterday people were using Unix, today people are using Windows, tomorrow it may be Linux, day after we don't know what kind of an operating system or access technology will be used. So the data will keep on accumulating while the applications will keep on changing. So we need to separate the data from the applications, and that's where open standards are extremely critical. Recently I came across a case where the NASA had actually collected an enormous amount of data from the moon landing. And all that data was in tape backups, and nobody knew how to, archive or extract the data. So just imagine, you send somebody to the moon, collected data, and you are not able to retrieve it. So these are exactly the kind of situations that we would like to avoid with open standards. The other thing is, of course, DIT has mandated open standards and has said that they would, endorse and encourage the use of open source. A quick definition of open standards. The right to encode and decode data is the foundation of open standards. So the information to decode that data should be clearly available. It should be freely available either from a website or on royalty-free terms. People should not have to pay money to decode their own data. The patents essential to the implementation of the standard must be available under royalty-free terms. Let me give you an example here, because this is probably something that not too many people are aware of. JPEG is actually a proprietary format, and many years ago a company called Forgent Network came up and said that we own the algorithms that control the JPEG standard, and they went around and sued many companies, Apple, IBM, etc., Kodak, all the camera makers, etc. Ultimately, they collected about $150 million because it's extremely expensive to fight a legal battle on software patents. Finally, what happened is that luckily the Public Patent Foundation found that there was an example of prior art, and in the legal code, they got the patents invalidated. So if that was not invalidated, one doesn't know what extent the damages could have gone to. So software patents are a huge issue. The other thing is that a standard is not open if it requires me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, if it requires me to do a click-through, etc. The freedom to encode and decode data is fundamental, and it must be ensured. The web is one of the greatest examples of open standards. Another great example is email. For example, when I send an email to anybody in this room, I don't really have to worry about what standards you are using. So a standard really becomes great when it's invisible, when it's completely transparent to you as a user. Because the purpose of a standard is to eliminate the friction from your day-to-day life so that you can concentrate on things which are more important to you. I was told that it's also a little bit about open source. There's one slide on open source and open standards. People sometimes confuse the two. So open source refers to software source code, while open standards refers to data. In open source, users have the freedom to modify the source code and share that modification and the improvements with the rest of the world. In open standards, end users have the right to encode and decode the data. The one thing common to open source and open standards is that both of these are inclusive movements in terms of access to knowledge. Then another recommendation would be that vendors should collaborate on defining open standards, and they should compete on the implementation of the open standards. Let me give an example. We all remember, if we have been using the net since 1995, 1993, etc. We all have seen that, we've seen websites saying that optimize for Netscape Navigator or optimize for Internet Explorer. And the amount of confusion that created. The end users finally said that we don't want this. We just want one single standard. So whether I use Internet Explorer or Netscape Navigator or any other browser, it shouldn't matter to me. I should be able to access that data freely. So today we have ODF and OXML, which are two different standards for essentially the same purpose, which is data, which is Office documents. Here, I think end users and the government should basically say that, we want one single standard. Just as end users said that let the World Wide Web Consortium come up with a unified standard. We don't want optimized for Internet Explorer or optimized for Netscape Navigator. So I guess it's amazing how you can always find a Mahatma Gandhi quote to suit every occasion. So the purpose of open standards, as I mentioned, is inclusiveness, and real independence in terms of data and in terms of applications really comes when we don't have to sign NDAs and click-throughs, etc., or pay software patents royalties to people. When you have access and the freedom to encode and decode your data, that is freedom for you. So Gandhiji had said that real Swaraj comes by the acquisition of authority, not by the acquisition of authority by a few, but acquisition of capacity by all. And that is fundamentally